I'm Marcus Blake with That Nerd Show, and we are here at the 2017 Earth Texas Film Festival and speaking with director Jeff Orlowski on the movie Chasing Coral, which is opening here at the Earth Texas Film Festival tonight. So first thing we got to ask is, tell us a little bit about this. I mean, because I know this, we're dealing with coral that's disappearing and it's kind of a mystery, but how did you come to this project?
Yeah, a couple of years ago I met this photographer, Richard Vevers, and he told me about what was happening in the oceans, what he was seeing, and this kind of unfolding mystery of corals turning white all around the planet. And Richard was very much at the front lines of all of it, documenting these very remote regions of the planet.
Right.
So I started traveling with him, we started shooting together, and it started to get worse and worse. This film kind of documents and uncovers that story of what's happening with coral bleaching.
Now, did you know much about any of this before you started?
No, I had not known much about the oceans. I had done a couple of scuba dives before this project. Now I've done like 200 or so. So I didn't know much about the oceans, and I didn't know much about bleaching at all. And there's a huge signal happening. There's a huge change happening under the water that we don't really know about because we don't spend that much time there.
Right. But I mean, from an educational standpoint, I mean, it sounds like it opened your eyes tremendously.
Yeah, without doubt. I feel like I've had this privilege of being able to go on the front lines of seeing how our planet is changing and where, and this film has been a perfect representation of that. Going to these beautiful, pristine ecosystems, Australia, up and down the whole Great Barrier Reef, Hawaii, the corals in Hawaii and the Gulf of Mexico. We dove right off the coast of Texas at this place called Flower Gardens.
Oh, okay.
And it's beautiful, but they're all being affected pretty heavily right now.
Now, I mean, with a film like this, I mean, obviously you want it to be informative and for people to have open their eyes to a subject they may not know. But is there much more of a political statement you're trying to make with it as well?
I don't know if we're trying to make a political statement with the film as opposed to, in my mind, very much an apolitical statement. Our planet is changing right now, and when every single ocean scientist that I've spoken to has a very clear explanation for it. The coral bleaching story that we are documenting is solely a signal of temperature. So when you heat the water up, the corals turn white and then die. And we're seeing that happen in droves all over the place. So if you look at the oceans and you look at coral bleaching that's happening right now, there's no real explanation other than these extremely abnormal ocean temperatures.
But did you find a solution in doing this documentary?
If we don't address the warming of the planet, there is no hope for coral reefs. Like hands down, it's as direct of a connection we possibly can have.
Now, where are you off to next with your film?
We are here in Texas. We continue on the festival circuit, so we're going to Hot Docs in Toronto and a handful of other festivals around the world. And then we will premiere later this year on Netflix as a Netflix original.
Okay, all right. One last question, because this is our nerdy question about That Nerd Show. If you could have a superpower, what would it be and why?
Oh, it's really fun. If I could have a superpower, there are people on our team who would love to be able to breathe underwater. Other people on our team who would love to be able to fly. I think it's definitely somewhere in that realm.
I am Marcus Blake with That Nerd Show. We are speaking with Zackary and Larissa from the movie Chasing Coral. So tell us a little bit about how you guys came to this project.
We started this film project because we had the director of the film who had previously directed another film called Chasing Ice, and actually the subject of Chasing Coral saw that film, contacted us and said, look, I think you're going to want to know what's happening in the oceans if you cared about what was happening with the ice. So we started to follow the story and dove right into it.
Oh, okay. Did you guys know much about this before you started?
Yeah, my story is different.
Oh, okay.
So I knew about it. It's what I've been working on for quite a while, and my company, who does something in the film to kind of help this process kind of come along, got hired to build some of the equipment, and for one reason or another, they kind of have allowed me to share my personal story through the film, and now we're here. So I've known about the problem. I've been a coral enthusiast my entire life, and now I've been given kind of this voice to share my love for this ecosystem and my passion for it, and hopefully that can have an impact on others.
Have you been diving or scuba diving all your life?
Yeah, probably almost 10 years now. So got dive certified when I was about 15 years old, and I've done the coral thing since I was 12. And yeah, it's just been this wild ride and this incredible opportunity for me to just share that passion and hopefully have a little bit of that passion rub off on our audiences.
Well, and I'm assuming that, the more that you have told this story, and especially with this film, you have found more and more people that don't know anything about it.
Yeah, certainly. A lot of people know nothing. Honestly, a lot of people might think that corals are plants, and understandably so. They don't get the headlines very often, and unfortunately, when they do, it's usually has to do with their degradation. So it's about time somebody has humanized them in a way and brought them to the limelight and given them their stage that they deserve.
So, what got you into below the water? I mean, your passion for everything.
Yeah, my family had a huge impact on it. My father runs a program out in Colorado that takes kids out to Hawaii every year. So I spent my summers in Hawaii scuba diving and kind of shadowing a high school program that talked about these things. I fell in love with it, and I ran with it and made a career out of it. So.
All right, cool. Now, is there anything else that you're working on after this? Stuff that maybe we don't know about?
Well, yeah, the film's got a huge impact campaign. Our impact director is actually here. So the film's kind of step one. It seems like at the end of 3.5 years, the film's the end game. But in all reality, this is just the beginning of a journey for us.
All right. And we hope people will follow us at Chasing Coral. We're working on building an impact campaign to basically go really wide and allow organizations to be able to use the film to further their own impact, but also go really deep and specific into certain places where we feel like we can have the most impact.
Now, we talked a little bit about making a political statement, with the film, but I mean, have congressmen, politicians viewed this and gotten involved? Have you had any positive response from that?
Yeah, so we just launched the film, and it's actually not public yet, but we will be launching on Netflix later this year. And so with that, we're going to be using that as our base point to launch from. We're going to hopefully take it out, because that basically gives us an audience globally.
Right.
We're going to be in 190 countries, over 90 million subscribers, and they will be able to then help us use that as a catalyst to create these conversations and use
with
that
lawmakers.
Exactly, with policymakers.
All right. Okay, so if you probably already heard it, but this is That Nerd Show, hence why we have a lightsaber microphone. We have a very nerdy question for you. All right, let's do it. If you could have a superpower, what would it be and why?
Gills, without question. Without question. Too easy.
I feel like there should be a double feature with this film and Aquaman that's like coming out. I feel like that'd be a great double feature. And you didn't hesitate. You already knew.
As soon as you asked the question, I was like, I've got your answer, brother.
How about you?
Oh, I don't even know. I think I would have to say the ability to hear far, far and wide, because I think sometimes we get stuck in these echo chambers, and you hear the same thing over and over again, and I think it'd be great to be able to hear perspectives when you're not present in them.
All right, that's a good one too. Well, thank you very much.